filtered in. No time for that doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Diffuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, applied myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back for my week 4 recap. I know there's a football game on tonight, but I didn't feel like I should preview it. And as you can see, with the final score being 42-14, Army throttling Temple, there wasn't no need to preview on it. I figured Army would do what they did today. It was up 14-0 at halftime. I ain't gonna lie, they looked unstoppable with their first 2 drives, which typical Army. Temple found a way to stop them to like later in the half, and then boom, Army comes out again, looks unstoppable, blows them out. But yeah, I'm gonna run through week 4 real quick. Before I do that, I like to ask that you leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the network, it helps the channel, it helps my channel, CTC, by the way, the Refuse to Lose Network. We also got shows like the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave. We have BWT, Baseball with Teddy. All your baseball news through Teddy. Shout out Teddy. Yankees just won the AL East tonight, so shout out to them. Tigers, 1 game away from the playoffs, man. A lot of people didn't. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people didn't believe me. I know some people ain't believe me. A lot of people probably ain't believing my boys. Stuck through my boys. Knew we was gonna make a run. We here, 1 game away. Got Dave's Doghouse highlights and lowlights of sports. We have Kings Talk with Joe Jordan, Sacramento Kings Talk. RBO, Real Ballers Only, with featuring Vaughn, NBA content. FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs, Fantasy/NFL content. In the Red Corner, who went live yesterday, I believe. Boxing content through Ty, Ricky, and Tomo. We got Unfazed every Tuesday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. And I think that is everything. Let me check through the list real quick. Boom. Yep, that is everything, man. So, like, comment, share, subscribe, help the channel. If you like what you're listening to, stick with us. Now, before I get into the recap, I got to get into this poll talk. So, we got new polls that came out. Texas is still number 1, which obviously, right? Georgia's number 2. Ohio State's 3, Alabama's 4. No issues here. 2 4 plays every Saturday. We'll get into that on Saturday morning. 5, Tennessee moves up 1 spot after dominant win over Oklahoma. Definitely can be mad there, especially because 6, Ole Miss hasn't played anybody yet for real. So they really haven't been tested. So Tennessee being over Ole Miss is perfectly fine with me. 7, Miami, perfectly fine with them being at 7. I would have been fine with them being at number 6, to be completely honest. They have looked really good throughout the season. 8, Oregon. 9, Penn State. I feel like Penn State should drop a little bit. I know they just blew out Kent State, but that Bowling Green win still leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Utah, 10, getting it done without Cam Rising. Shout out Isaiah Wilson, Zach Wilson's little brother. 11, Mizzou. I think the tumble was well worth it. I give Vanderbilt a different team, but Vanderbilt was coming off a loss to Georgia State. You play Vanderbilt at home, and it took a missed field goal for y'all to win. No, I think they played at Vandy. But either way, it took a missed field goal in overtime for y'all to win. So I'm cool with them being at 11. Michigan jumps up 6 spots to 12. Great win by Michigan. Do I think they deserve to jump up 6 spots? No. Do I think they deserve to jump up? Yes. USC drops to 13. LSU to 14. Louisville at 15. Notre Dame at 16. Too high. 17 is Clemson. 18 is Iowa State. 19 is Illinois. Oklahoma State at 20. Oklahoma is 21. BYU deservingly is ranked. Kansas State drops all the way to 23. 24 is Texas A&M, which I think they should be unranked. And 25th is Boise State. A team that I think should be ranked, I think Washington State should be 25th. Texas A&M should be out. Boise State could be at 24th. Indiana, if you rank Indiana, I'm not mad either. Now, it's going to be tough for them to be ranked. I don't know who you take out to make Indiana rank, but I'm not mad at ranking Indiana at all. But those are two teams that I think should be ranked. Now, Nebraska kind of getting unranked is kind of unfair in my opinion. They lost, yes, but they lost to 24th ranked at the time, Illinois. I don't know why I keep saying Illinois. They lost to Illinois, who was ranked, like I just said, in overtime. It was a really good game. Somebody had to lose, and for Nebraska to be unranked behind that, I don't know if that sit well with me, but it's 25 teams. It's hard to keep 25 teams in contact. Like I said, I do think Notre Dame's overrated. They're going to be their 16th. Their schedule is not good. It's really bad. Who they beat? Was it Miami of Ohio? Which not taking nothing away from Miami of Ohio, but they're not world beaters. You lost to Northern Illinois already. That should have just dropped you out immediately and shouldn't have allowed you to come back after a week. And then the first one's against Texas A&M, who I think is also overrated. So they're overrated there. Clemson at 17, I feel like, yeah, that's fine because their only loss is to Georgia, who is second. And like Tony said in the chats, if you're not a member of the chats, become a member. Clemson was ranked too high. So I'm not mad at them at 17. Honestly, I'm not mad at the rest of the list. Maybe Michigan's too high at 12. Maybe I would say more so in the 15, 14 range. But other than that, Texas A&M and Notre Dame being overranked is really my only two problems with this list. But that's poll talk. Things will be changed after this Saturday. Shout out to Barry being the first comment. Said, hey, what up, my boy? Then we got a comment from somebody, Chandler Constantino, Virginia Tech to cover. I like it. I do like it. Now, my preview is going to be later this morning. It's going to be like 6:30, 6:45. So tune in for that. But I'm not mad at it, man. I just feel like eventually a big spread in Miami is going to have to hit eventually, right? But they have been on fire on offense, but I'm not mad at it. Let's get into these previews. Recap. Thursday. These weekday games have been killing me. I mean, killing me to the point. If you faded all my weekday games, like week 4 and week 3 -1, which we'll get into that later, you come up. You would come up. And it's not like I'm picking dogs. I'm picking favorites. Now, I did pick a dog or two, but I'm mainly picking teams that I think will win and the team that the public would think will win. And they're just losing. First game we got to talk about is South Alabama at App State. And App State couldn't stop a nosebleed. They couldn't stop I don't know, but they just defensively, it was just not there for them. South Alabama wins the game 48-14. They start with a 10-yard touchdown catch by DJ Thomas Jones, set up by Gio Lopez 50-yard run. App State would then punt, and then South Alabama would take the ball and go 22 yards with Fluff Bothwell on a touchdown run. He set up with a 20-yard run of his own before that. Then Gio Lopez would fumble. You would think App State had life, but no, they punt. South Alabama would then score a 31-yard Gio Lopez touchdown run, set up by a Gio Lopez 19-yard run. App State, Joey Aguilar would then throw a pick, which would lead to a 2-yard Kentrell Bullock touchdown run. App State would then score a Hail Mary 47-yard Dalton Stroman touchdown catch, set up by Christian Horn 14-yard catch, which honestly to me was fluke. App State would start the second half with a turnover downs, 4th and 6 passes incomplete, leads to an 18-yard Jamal Pritchard touchdown catch, but the point after would be missed. The South Alabama would then score a 14-yard Fluff Buffalo touchdown run, set up by Jeremiah Webb 22-yard catch. App State would then fumble, which would lead to a punt. App State turnover downs, 4th and 9, 8-yard McQuill Hayward 8-yard. It was an 8-yard catch. I wrote it twice. He caught an 8-yard catch, leading to the turnover on downs 1 yard short, but that would lead to a punt. The South Alabama Iverson Celestine would score a 6-yard touchdown catch, set up by Bishop Davenport 14-yard run. App State, again, just like they ended the first half, will end the game with a 2-yard McCoy Haywood touchdown run set up by Anderson Castle, 15-yard run. But like I said, man, in this game, App State couldn't stop anything. South Alabama got everything they wanted on the ground, especially Gio Lopez and Fluff Barfield. They got anything they wanted, man. Converted almost every third down they wanted to convert. It just looked bad for App State. It looked really bad. I'm not going to lie. Like, that game was Thursday night. I stopped watching after the touchdown. After the touchdown to start the half for App State, South Alabama, excuse me. I stopped watching. I was watching the Thursday night game, which was Aaron Rodgers. It was the Jets and the Patriots. I started watching that, and that game wasn't that great either. But, yeah, like I said, man, App State defense just did not come to play at all. Next, we have Friday night games, and those games were really good. Stanford and Syracuse. Now, I picked App State in that game. They lost. Then I picked Syracuse to beat Stanford. I felt Syracuse was on a roll. Cal McCord was looking good. Stanford looks okay. They actually look better than I thought they would this year. But I just thought first game in the Carrier Dome, Orange Dome, whatever you want to call it, at Syracuse, thought Syracuse would just get the best of them in that environment. And I was wrong. Stanford would win 26-24. Now, I felt like Syracuse was just trying every way to lose this game, but Stanford starts with a punt. Syracuse will start with a punt. Stanford will score a 17-yard Alec Ayamina touchdown catch, set up by Sam Rose, 19-yard catch. Stanford scores a 38-yard field goal. Stanford, Ashton Daniels will then throw a pick, which will lead to a 30-yard field goal. With 1:35 left in the second quarter, Stanford scores a 51-yard field goal. Syracuse will then score a 67-yard Umari Hatcher touchdown catch. I think that was on a broken play. Syracuse will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Stanford will start the second half with an Ashton Daniels interception, which will lead to Cal McCord throwing a pick six to Mitch Liger for 71 yards. Now, that was, I think, a receiver I think he threw the ball before the receiver got out of his break, and the defender Mitch Liger made a great play, jumped the ball, took it to the crib. Syracuse scores 19-yard Cal McCord touchdown run set up by Jackson Meeks, 16-yard catch. Then Syracuse, Cal McCord will throw another interception, which will lead to a 35-yard field goal. And then with 3:13 left in the fourth quarter, Syracuse will score a 13-yard Jackson Meeks touchdown catch, set up by Darrell Gill, 24-yard catch. And then Stanford will hit a 39-yard field goal as time expires, leading to them winning the game. Cal McCord threw 2 picks, which was uncharacteristic of Cal McCord this season. I mean, he only had 6 last year, too, so it's really uncharacteristic of Cal McCord. But 2 picks in this game is not going to cut it. Now, Ashton Daniels, he did throw 2 picks of his own, but he could be a little careless at times. Stanford was converting on third down as well in this game. I know we just talked about App State. I mean, it wasn't to the same level as South Alabama and App State, but they were converting, man. Syracuse, I don't know, man. They finally took the lead, like I said, with the Jackson Meeks touchdown catch. If that was to take the lead, and then the defense just could not get a stop. I think they even got them on a 4th down, and Syracuse even converted on a 4th down to keep the drive alive. They just could not get Stanford off the field. Stanford wins the game late at the time expires, but it was a really good game. Like I said, I picked Syracuse. Stanford was just able to pull it off. Next, we have Illinois at Nebraska. 24th ranked Illinois at 22nd Nebraska. This game went to overtime. I thought I wrote that down. Hold on. Thought I put the /OT. There we go. Oh, shoot. Boom. All right. So, Nebraska will start with a punt, while Illinois will start with a 27-yard Pat Bryant touchdown catch, set up by a 29-yard Pat Bryant catch. Nebraska will then score a 21-yard field goal. Illinois Hank Beatty will fumble, which leads to a 6-yard Isaiah Nair touchdown catch. Illinois will score a 26-yard field goal. Nebraska Dylan Raiola will throw an interception, which will lead to a 4th and 8 Luke Allmeyer 3-yard run to turnover on downs. That will lead to an 11-yard Isaiah Nair touchdown catch. The Illinois will start the second half with a punt. Nebraska will start the second half with a punt. Illinois will score a 3-yard Tanner Arkin touchdown catch set up by a personal foul. Nebraska will score a 1-yard Jeniran Bonner touchdown catch set up by a 44-yard Isaiah Nair catch. Illinois will score a 6-yard Brandon Henderson touchdown catch set up by Caden Fagan 16-yard run. The Illinois Luke Allmeyer will fumble, but that would lead to a 39-yard field goal miss right before regulation. And then overtime, Illinois would score a 4-yard Pat Bryant touchdown catch. while Nebraska would turn the ball over on down. Dylan Raiola would get sacked. Now, here's my thing with the Nebraska game. Nebraska had every opportunity to win this game. I believe Nebraska fumbled. Dylan Raiola missed a wide open touchdown pass right before they missed the field goal to win it. Then to start overtime, they just went backwards. They did nothing but go backwards. They didn't go forward at all, which led to a 4th and 29, which led to Raiola getting sacked. They didn't do anything. It's just like they collapsed. I felt like Nebraska collapsed. It was a really good game, really good back and forth. Plays were being made, stops were being made. But then Nebraska, when they had the opportunity to win, they folded. Pretty much that's what it was. Raiola looked good up until late in the game. Luke Altmaier, surprisingly, has been looking really good this year. Really good this year. So, shout out to him. He's been looking really good. Zachary Franklin, he made some plays. Pat Bryant obviously made plays for Illinois. Caden Fagan had a couple runs. Nebraska had a couple plays being made by Isaiah Nair. Like I said, he made some plays. I want to say he had like a tough catch on the sideline. Man, Isaiah Nair was balling. Raiola was balling too, but Nair was really balling. But it was a really good game on both ends. It's just like I said, late game. Nebraska to me just seemed like they collapsed. That's what it seemed like to me. But I picked Nebraska to win this, and Illinois won. So my last game was finally I got a weekday game correct. I picked Washington State to beat San Jose State, and even in this one late game, San Jose State was up 2 scores, I believe. Washington State was able to come back. This game going to overtime. Well, I'll talk about what happened and then I'll talk about it because I remember this game. It was like late and I was ready to go to sleep. But Washington State does win 54-52 in double overtime. Washington State starts with a 1-yard John Mater, touchdown run. Set up by Wayshawn Parker, 20-yard run. San Jose State starts with a 66-yard Floyd Chalk touchdown run. San Jose State would then kick an onside kick and recover, which would lead to a 19-yard field goal. But then Washington State would come back and score a 4-yard Cooper Mathis touchdown catch set up by Kyle Williams, 28-yard catch. Then Washington State will score a 8-yard Cooper Mathis touchdown catch set up by Trey Shackle for a 27-yard catch. Now, right here, when that happened, we go up 21-10, I was like, oh, yeah, this game is over. They caught Washington State by surprise. They got the onside kick, but it's over now. Boy, was I wrong. Washington State would kick off to San Jose State, and Jabari Bates would then fumble, but that would lead to a turnover on downs, 4th and 11. The fake field goal had failed, which leads to a 4-yard Jacob Stewart touchdown. The fake punt was successful. Ken Niumatalolo ran a fake punt. They picked it up, and that would lead to a touchdown. Washington State would score a 36-yard field goal before the half. San Jose State would start the second half with a 19-yard Nick Nash touchdown catch, set up by a 43-yard Nick Nash catch. Washington State would start the second half with a John Mater interception, which leads to a 1-yard Emmett Brown touchdown run, and I believe that put San Jose State in front. The San Jose State would score an 18-yard Floyd Chalk touchdown run, set up by a Nick Nash 18-yard catch. Washington State would score a 13-yard Kyle Williams touchdown catch, set up by a John Mateer 36-yard run. Then with 7:36 left in the fourth quarter, San Jose State will have a turnover on downs, 4th and 1, Emmett Brown 1-yard loss, which will lead to a 36-yard John Meredith touchdown catch, but the point had to be no good. Then Emmett Brown would throw a pick, which leads to a 1-yard Dylan Payne touchdown run, but the 2-point be no good. With 26 seconds left in the fourth quarter, San Jose State scores a 20-yard Trayshawn Henry 20-yard catch. I wrote that twice. That's how you know I was tired. 20-yard catch, and Trayshawn Henry set that up with a 31-yard catch, and the 2-point is good. And then I'm like, I just lost another game because they went up 3. But Washington State was for a 52-yard field goal to end regulation and tie the game. Now, in overtime, I'm like, bro, come on, just please win overtime. San Jose State throws a pick. Emmett Brown throws a pick, and I'm celebrating. I'm like, yes, I'm about to go to sleep. All Washington they have to do is run the ball, kick the field goal. You just made a 52-yarder. Just run the ball, get it set up how the kicker wanted, make this kick, go home. What did they do? Second down, John Mater throws a pick. I was like, you can't be serious right now. Throws a pick, go into double overtime. But then Washington State in double overtime would score a 7-yard Dylan Payne touchdown run, and the 2-point would be good. San Jose State would match the touchdown, 4-yard touchdown pass to Nick Nash, but the 2-point would be no good, and that'd be your ball game. This game was highly offensive. So much offense in this game, it makes no sense. Obviously, with 106 points, you can say it was very offensive, but San Jose State was getting whatever they wanted through the ground and in the air with Nick Nash. John Mater, when he wasn't throwing interceptions, Kyle Williams, Trey Shackelford was getting whatever they wanted in the air as well. John Mater got whatever he wanted on the ground too, having over 100 yards. But this game has so much offense in it. It was very exciting to watch. It was just so late. It was like 2 o'clock almost when the game went off in the morning. So, but it was a really good game. But now we move on to Saturday's games. And first, we got to start with NC State Clemson, which I ain't gonna lie, this game was a blowout. The final score says that NC State lost by 24, but it was like 52-7 before Clemson took out the starters. Like, it was a blowout. Sorry. We can talk about what happened in the game, though. I'm not gonna speak about it much. Like I said, it was just a blowout. Clemson dominated this game. Clemson starts with a 55-yard K Clemson touchdown run, set up by 11-yard Phil Maffa run. NC State starts with a punt. Clemson scores a 31-yard Antonio Williams touchdown catch, set up by Phil Maffa 34-yard run. Then NC State, C.J. Bailey would fumble, which leads to a 2-yard Antonio Williams touchdown catch. Kevin Concepcion would fumble, which would lead to a 38-yard Phil Maffa touchdown run. Then they would miss a 58-yard field goal, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. NC State would score a 5-yard Jordan Waters touchdown run, which was like the only touchdown that they had in like non-garbage time, which would lead to a face mask. Clemson would score an 18-yard Cole Turner touchdown run, set up by a T.J. Moore 40-yard catch. Clemson would score a 19-yard Jay Haynes touchdown run, set up by a Troy Stellato 25-yard catch. Clemson's 20-yard field goal would be good before half. To start the second half, NC State would have a turnover on downs, 4th and 2, passes incomplete, which would lead to a 4-yard Adam Randall touchdown catch. NC State would score a 60-yard Kendrick Raphael touchdown run, set up by Wesley Grimes 23-yard catch. 32 seconds left in the third quarter. NC State C.J. Bailey throws a pick 6 to Ashton Hampton. NC State would then score a 2-yard Hollywood Smothers touchdown run and then a 6-yard DeMarcus Jones touchdown run before they score a 40-yard Terrell Anderson touchdown catch, which I ain't gonna lie, that touchdown at the end was nice. He caught the ball, one move and go, put his foot in the ground, planted, went the other way, and he scored. That actually looked a little nice. But like I said, man, Clemson on these boys from the jump. They blew them out. NC State got most of their points in garbage time when Clemson didn't even play their starters for real. So shout out to the boys at Clemson. Again, they took that bad L to Georgia, but it's Georgia. I felt like Clemson was being a little overrated at that time anyway. But these last 2 games, now granted, it's App State, and we just saw what App State defense did against South Alabama. But Clemson looked good these last 2 games. If they can keep an ounce of this offense going, they can make a push to the ACC like I said they would. Now, this next game, I'm not giving it too much. I just gave that game like a minute or 2. I'm not even giving this game that. I picked Cincinnati to win. By the way, I picked Clemson to win that NC State game. I picked Cincinnati to win, and they blew Houston out. They shut them out 34-0. I only got 3 notes from this game. Houston had 3 turnovers while Cincy had 0. Cincy started with a punt, then scored on every other drive in the first half, and then they scored on 2 of 3 drives in the second half, not including the last drives just to ice the game. We would have killed the clock and go home. But shout out Houston, shout out Cincinnati. For that, the defense has been really well these last couple of weeks. Showed up against Miami of Ohio, showed up against Houston. Didn't show up against Pitt, but Pitt is actually looking like a really talented program this year. I was a year too early on Pitt. But shout out to Pitt, by the way. They're not in this recap. Don't think they played last week, and if they did, they didn't play anybody like for me to talk about. But yeah, shout them boys out. Shout out Eli Holstein, man. We're gonna move on to a game that had a weather delay for hours in Kansas and West Virginia. Kansas, I can't even remember who I picked. I think I picked West Virginia. I did pick West Virginia. I remember, shout out my boy Ace. I was telling him I picked West Virginia in that game, and he picked Kansas, so we was fighting in that game. But West Virginia pulled it out at the end, man. Shout out Garrett Green. Was able to throw the game-winning touchdown to Gallagher, but talk about it a little bit. So let's talk about what happened. West Virginia would start with a punt while Kansas would start with a punt. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Jalen Daniels, another game, another interception, man. Again, I love Jalen Daniels, but I'm not afraid to say that. I think bro is overrated. He has a turnover bug thing going on right now, and he needs to end it. He had, 3 picks against Illinois, 2 against UNLV, 1 against West Virginia, and that's not even including fumbles. So this turnover bug he got going on, it got to end, man. It has to end. But back to the game, West Virginia would score a 1-yard Jaheim White touchdown run set up by Hudson Clement, 2 catches for 77 yards. Jalen Daniels would throw a pick, but Garrett Green would say, hold my beer, and throw a pick right back. That would lead to 11-yard Devin Neal touchdown run. With 25 seconds left in the second quarter, West Virginia scores a 5-yard Gary Green touchdown run set up by Traylon Ray, 18-yard catch. Kansas would start the second half with a 7-yard Luke Grimm touchdown catch set up by Jerry Casey, 16-yard catch. West Virginia starts the second half with a 40-yard field goal. Kansas would score 11-yard Daniel Highshaw touchdown run. Daniel Highshaw set it up with a 32-yard run. West Virginia's Gary Green would throw another interception, but this time it just leads to a punt. With 5:39 left in the fourth quarter, Kansas scores a 32-yard Luke Grimm touchdown run set up by Daniel Highshaw, 11-yard run. Then West Virginia would score an 8-yard Cole Taylor touchdown catch. Now, that was set up, I believe, they like play action right, roll left. Cole Taylor was wide open in the flats. He just ran it in. And the 2-point would be good off of that. That was a reverse pass late to Cole Taylor. Cole Taylor jump ball. He just caught it. And that was set up by Rodney Gallagher, 26-yard catch. And then West Virginia would score a 15-yard Rodney Gallagher touchdown catch set up by DPI to win the game. Jalen Daniels would fumble at the end of the game to lose it. But yeah, turnovers were even, but the difference in the game, West Virginia got hot late. They made plays. Jalen Daniels had his fumble at the end, but I don't think that really mattered. Man, it was another good game. Weather delay probably ruined a little bit of momentum, but another good game, another game with some offense. Two good quarterbacks. Well, two quarterbacks going at it. Gary Green just came out on top. Next game, my boys, UVA, the Hoosiers. The Hoos, I said Hoosiers, that's Indiana. The Hoos, I think they call the Wahoos, but I mean, they're the Cavs, the Cavaliers. I don't know why they get the other nickname, but they're the Cavaliers. They beat Coastal Carolina 43-24. Now, I did pick UVA to win. I did say Calandria will cut down on the turnovers. I don't think he had a turnover in this game. They stomped Coastal, won by 19. I figured if you scored a lot and made Coastal have to pass the ball, they would not win this game. Coastal would fumble the opening kickoff, which would lead to a 7-yard Malachi Fields touchdown catch. Coastal would then score a 30-yard field goal, and then with 6:09 left in the first quarter, Coastal Ethan Vasco throws a pick, which leads to a 5-yard Grady Brosterhouse touchdown run. Virginia would score a 22-yard field goal. Coastal would score a 29-yard Jameson Tucker touchdown catch set up by Trey Taylor, 22-yard run. Virginia would score a 1-yard Grady Brosterhouse touchdown run set up by Anthony Calandria, 25-yard run. UVA would score a 47-yard field goal. Then Virginia would start the second half with a 45-yard field goal. Coastal would start the second half with a turnover on downs, 4th and 1. Christian Washington run for no gain, which leads to a 1-yard Kobe Pace touchdown run. Coastal Carolina would score a 3-yard Ethan Vasco touchdown run. Kendall Carr set that up with a 65-yard catch. UVA turnover on downs, 4th and 5. Calandria is sacked, but that would lead to a turnover on downs by Coastal Carolina. 4th and 1. Vasco runs for loss of 4. And then that would lead to a 37-yard Malachi Fields touchdown catch. Coastal Carolina would score a 15-yard Brayson Graves touchdown catch. That was thrown by Noah Kim, and that was set up by Seneca McKee, 41-yard catch. And then Coastal Carolina would end the game on a turnover on downs, 4th and 3, passes incomplete, leads to the end of the ball game. Now, another thing that helped UVA, Malachi Fields was definitely involved in this game, scoring 2 touchdowns, one off the break, one later in the game. Calandria, like I said, no turnovers. Just recipe for success as a UVA team. I think this team goes as far as Calandria takes them. Calandria has no turnovers. They can do some damage in the ACC. Calandria start turning that ball over like crazy. It's gonna look ugly for UVA. As for Coastal, they're a really good Sun Belt team. They are in the mix to win the Sun Belt Conference. They did do really well against their non-con opponents. I do like this Coastal Carolina team. Ethan Vasco does have to improve as a passer a little bit, but he can run his offense led by Tim Beck and them boys. He can run his offense. But UVA, shout out UVA. Another good win for them. We move on to this next game. How did USC lose this game, man? USC, 11th ranked USC, takes an L to 18th ranked at the time. These are rankings at the time. Michigan, 27-24. Michigan, exactly what I thought would happen. Not with the game, but with how they would play. Defense, run the ball. I figured their passing game would be non-existent, and it was. They only had 32 passing yards throughout the entire game. Alex Orji, while he is an athlete, is not it so far as a passer. Khalil Mullins, honestly, is MVP of this game. Him breaking those 2 big runs. I know Edwards had one, but Mullins' runs were key in this game. If he don't break those runs, this game isn't won. I thought when USC took the lead, this game was over. I'm like, oh, Michigan's not going to be able to pass this ball down the field. And they didn't have to. Khalil Mullins broke like a 60-plus yarder run. And I ain't going to lie, on that touchdown, the last touchdown on 4th and goal, there was a hold that was missed. But it was kind of in a place where it was kind of tough to tell. I saw it live, but I'm watching on TVs, different camera angles. But there was a hold for sure in the hole. But anyway, Michigan starts with a punt. USC will start with a punt. With 3:10 left in the first quarter, Michigan scores a 53-yard Khalil Mullins touchdown run. Then with 7:14 left in the second quarter, Michigan will score a Donovan Edwards 41-yard touchdown run, set up by a Frederick Moore 15-yard run. USC was then scored a 29-yard field goal. USC will start the second half with a 9-yard Deuce Robinson touchdown catch, set up by a Kyron Hudson 15-yard catch. Michigan will start the second half with a 3-and-out punt. And then USC Miller Moss throws a pick six to Will Johnson, but the point after is blocked. Man, I said it to Teddy. He even gave us our props. I forgot what the post was. I think it was the Will Johnson post about how good he's been at cornerback, which is facts. But I said, bruh, y'all know I'm not a Michigan fan, but please avoid Will Johnson. What do you do in the third quarter? You throw right to Will Johnson's side, and it's some way he can break on. He picks it. That was a tremendous break, by the way. Pick six is it, and I think that was the difference in the game. Right after that, though, Miller Moss would fumble. Michigan would recover the fumble, one of the big boys, but Woody Marks would strip it right back. So fumble. Woody Marks makes a great play for USC to get the ball back, and then USC would score a 16-yard Jay Fair touchdown catch because of that. And then with 8:35 left in the fourth, Donovan Edwards would then fumble, which leads to a 24-yard. Give me that touchdown to Jacoby Lane. That's how you high point a football, man. 24-yard touchdown catch. And with 37 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Khalil Mullins scores the 1-yard touchdown run, set up by the 63-yard run he had. And then 4th and 9, the ball is thrown a little short of the sticks to Jacoby Lane. He catches it, but he's a yard short. Leads to the end of the game. I already said what I had to say about this game, man. USC should not have lost this game. USC was the better team, but missed tackles became an issue. I don't know how he broke that 63-yard run. They had him dead to rights. He spun out of it and just took off. Honestly, the goal line stand being as long as it did actually ended up hurting USC because they wasted their timeouts and time. Low key, if they let him score off that 63-yarder, that might have gave USC time to come down and win, but you don't want to think like that. You want to try to stop him. So I get it. But that just, like I'm just saying, that kind of hurt him a little bit. We're going to move on to UCLA. 17 at LSU 34. Now LSU was ranked 16th in the country and still is, but LSU came to play. Not LSU. UCLA came to play first half, putting up 17 points in the first half, but LSU did a great job shutting them out in the second half. I know UCLA tried to get their crowd involved because they were in Baton Rouge. But second half it just did not go so well for the Bruins. LSU will start with a 5-yard Xavier Thomas touchdown catch, set up by Josh Williams 28-yard run. UCLA starts with a 20-yard Jack Peterson touchdown catch, set up by a 28-yard Keegan Jones catch. LSU turnover on downs, 4th and 7, passes incomplete, leads to a 47-yard field goal. LSU scores a 45-yard Kyle Parker touchdown catch, set up by a defensive pass interference. With 6:46 left in the second quarter, UCLA Ethan Garber's fumbles leads to a 22-yard field goal. Then UCLA will score an 11-yard Logan Lawyer touchdown catch right before the half, set up by Quasi Gilmore 32-yard catch. UCLA will start the second half with a punt. LSU will start the second half with a Josh Williams 2-yard run. Mason Taylor set that up with a 33-yard catch. Then LSU scores a 35-yard Caden Durham touchdown catch, set up by Aaron Anderson 13-yard catch, and then UCLA's Ethan Garbers will throw a pick leading to the 32-yard field goal, and that'd be your ball game. Like I said, man, really good first half for UCLA. They actually look like they can do no wrong for UCLA in the first half. Second half just was not the same. Did not come out with the same intensity, same energy. LSU made some adjustments defensively. Offensively, still striding, catching fire, scoring touchdowns. It's just UCLA offense isn't good enough. It's not. It's improving. I will say that. It is improving, but it's just not good enough. Even with Eric Bieniemy over there, it's not good enough yet. But we'll move on to Georgia Tech at Louisville. This was actually a really good game. Louisville broke it open from a 5-point game to a 12-point game off of a block field goal. But this was a great back and forth game between Louisville and Georgia Tech. Haynes King did have that turnover, man. That dang Haynes King turnover. But this was a good game. Let's get into it. Georgia Tech will start with a 3-and-out punt. Louisville will start with a 52-yard field goal miss, which will lead to a 23-yard Haynes King touchdown run. Georgia Tech Haynes King will fumble and that will be recovered by Ramon Pryor for a touchdown. Then Georgia Tech will miss a 46-yard field goal. Leads to a Chris Bell 37-yard touchdown catch. Louisville will score a 27-yard field goal. Georgia Tech will score a 1-yard Jamal Haynes touchdown run set up by Eric Singleton 51-yard catch. I remember the broadcast, speaking of that, I remember the broadcast talking about how they would double Eric Singleton and Malik Rutherford and let the other receivers beat them. And I said, man, you do that if you want. Let Chase Lane and new guys beat you. Like, Georgia Tech got some threats on the perimeter. It's not just them two. They got other guys that can beat you. And I don't think they did it. But right when I said that, I think Lane caught like a couple passes. I'm like, see, I told you. But Louisville starts the second half with a point. Georgia Tech starts the second half with a 26-yard field goal. Louisville would then score Ja'Cory Brooks' 57-yard touchdown catch set up by defensive pass interference. Then Georgia Tech turnover on downs, 4th and goal. Haynes King, 2-yard run, which is short, leads to a Louisville safety. Then on the Louisville safety, they would get in the field goal range, set up to kick a 50-yard field goal, but it is blocked by Louisville and returned for a touchdown. Then turnover on downs, 4th and 1. Jamal Haynes is run for no gain, and that would lead to the end of the game. That blocked field goal for a touchdown backdoor my Georgia Tech plus 10.5. But this was a really good back and forth game. Both teams making plays. Louisville just made more plays down the stretch to win the game, especially with that blocked field goal. That was momentum swinging. It was really momentum swinging, and it kind of felt like the game was over, especially being in Louisville with that type of play. But hats off to both teams. Both teams look really good. Louisville was just able to pull out the dub again because last year they beat Georgia Tech in the first game of the season. I want to say that was a Chick-fil-A bowl game. But I do got some comments real quick. But UCLA offense hasn't been worth a thing since DTR was their quarterback and Charbonnet was at running back. Yeah, that's true. Their problem really been quarterback. I mean, Dante Moore was a 5-star freshman. They had a lot of trust in, and I ain't gonna lie, he was starting games with pick sixes. That's just not good. Last year they had Carson Steele, but again they had a quarterback issue. And honestly, I felt like they weren't playing Carson Steele as much as they needed to. Now, they were fluctuating between him and TJ Harden, and I do like TJ Harden. He is a good back, but Carson Steele should have got more carries. I thought they should have tried Colin Shalee a little bit more, especially the way with Dante Moore was playing. But they didn't have a solidified starter either. They were switching between Garbers, Moore, and Shalee a little bit. They never had a solidified starter. Now Chip Kelly's left, so that really puts a hold on things. Never really had dominant receivers. They had Jermichael Studevant last year, who's still there this year, but that was really it. Well, Logan Lawyer was there too, but that was really it. Just a lot of things lacking for UCLA's offense. And then he says the blocked field goal did Georgia Tech in, which is facts. We'll get into the next game. Arizona State, Texas Tech, which this game was the battle of the running backs, just like I thought. Cam Scatterbo versus Taj Brooks. Cam Scatterbo of Arizona State. Taj Brooks of Texas Tech. Sam Levitt was actually threw a couple turnovers, I think. He threw a couple picks. The Michigan State transfer, who's actually been playing really well for Arizona State. But like I said, I think he did have a couple picks in this game. I think Baron Morton was interception less, which is like the big difference in this game. But this was just a battle. And I think Taj Brooks wore down on this Arizona State defense later in the game, which he does to most defenses. So it's nothing new. But let's talk about the game. Texas Tech will start with a 5-yard John Carlos Miller touchdown catch set up by Caleb Douglas, 21-yard catch. Arizona State starts with a Sam Levitt interception. Leads to a 20-yard Josh Kelly touchdown catch. Arizona State, 4th and 1, turnover on downs. Cam Scatterbo run for no yards, but that would just lead to a 3-and-out punt. Arizona State scores a 34-yard field goal. With a 1:33 left in the second quarter, Arizona State scores a 1-yard Sam Levitt touchdown run. Set up by Jordan Tyson, 27-yard catch, which I ain't going to lie, I've been watching a lot. Not a lot, but this is my second week in a row watching some Jordan Tyson. I like Jordan Tyson as a wide receiver. I really do. Texas Tech scores a 30-yard field goal. Arizona State starts the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Texas Tech starts the second half with a 3-yard Jalen Conyers touchdown run. Set up by Coy Eakins, a 16-yard catch. Arizona State, turnover on downs, 4th and 1, Sam Levitt, run for no gain. That would lead to a 3-and-out punt. Arizona State would then score a 3-yard Cam Scatterbo touchdown run set up by a Cam Scatterbo 66-yard catch, with the point after would be blocked. The Texas Tech would score a 40-yard field goal, then score a 38-yard field goal, and then Arizona State 4th and 9 passes and complete turnover on downs, leading to a 3-and-out punt. And then Arizona State would score a 3-yard Cam Scatterbo touchdown run, set up by a 19-yard Cam Scatterbo catch. 2 point would be no good. They wouldn't get the ball back, and Texas Tech would end the game. They were trying to go for 2, get the onside kick, get score a touchdown, kick the extra point, win the game. Instead of, I don't know why coaches do this so much. You see it so much now because of analytics. I don't know why coaches don't stick to the script of scoring 7-7 and guaranteeing overtime. Or how about you do this? You score your 7. So at least you can score a touchdown and guarantee overtime. But if you want to be greedy, you can then go for 2 and try to win it there, as opposed to, all right, we're going to go for 2 now. And then that way, if we get it, we go up 6, and then we go down 6, and then we go down the score, we win. But if you don't get it, now you're going for 2 just to go for overtime. So I don't get the analytics behind it there, but those are just analytics, and sometimes it can ruin the game. And I feel like in those cases, it ruins the game. Take your 7. If you get the stop to go down the score again, and you feel like, hey, we need to get out of here, win, lose, or draw, we don't want overtime, we ain't stopping them, then you can go for 2. Or you can go, hey, I trust my guys to beat your guys. We'll go for 2, win this game now, take this game away from you. Cool. But why are you going for 2? Not even guaranteeing yourself. You're not guaranteed to go. Now you got to go for 2 again. If you don't get it the first time, now you got to go for it twice, as opposed to only going for it once. So that's my little spill on that. Moving on to another defensive game. This game I knew was going to be defensive. I knew they were going to try to take out Ollie Gordon, and they didn't try. They succeeded very well. But that's Utah, man. Utah was 12th ranked, right, 12th in the country. Beat Oklahoma State, 14th ranked in the country, 22-19. Again, shout out to Isaiah Wilson, Zach Wilson, brother, for helping getting the job done. But I got to say it, man, when you take away Ollie Gordon, this is the second time. Now, Arkansas didn't finish the job. This is the second time Alan Bowman looked very pedestrian without Ollie Gordon, man. 2 picks. I think he had 2 late touchdowns or 1 late touchdown. But he just did not look the same. It don't look the same when Ollie Gordon is taken away from Alan Bowman. I keep saying it. But Oklahoma State would start with a punt. Utah would start with a turnover on downs, 4 for 2 passes incomplete, leads to a 23-yard field goal. Utah's Isaac Wilson would throw an interception, but that would lead to a 3-and-out punt. Utah would then score a 43-yard field goal. I think I called him Isaiah Wilson. This is Isaac. Utah scores a 14-yard Brant Huth touchdown run. Money Park set it up with a 20-yard catch. Oklahoma State misses a 46-yard field goal, which would lead to a Michael Bernard fumble, which would lead to an Alan Bowman interception, which leads to an Isaac Wilson interception, which will lead to the end of half, which was a crazy sequence of events. Missed field goal after turnover after turnover after turnover. Then you just halftime. 5 crazy sequences. Utah will start the second half with a punt. Oklahoma State will start the second half with a punt. Utah will miss a 36-yard field goal, which will lead to a punt. Utah will score a 38-yard field goal. Utah will score a 44-yard field goal. Then with 6:35 left in the fourth quarter, Alan Bowman throws a pick, which will lead to a 45-yard Brant Huth touchdown run. Oklahoma State will score a 28-yard Brendan Presley touchdown catch. Set up by DeZon Strickland, 22-yard catch, and the 2-point is good. Oklahoma State would then score a 9-yard Rashad Owens touchdown catch. Gavin Freeman set it up with a 23-yard catch, which the 2-point would also be good. But Utah, I believe, got the onside kick and won the game. But so I apologize. It seems like Alan Bowman threw 3 picks with no Ollie Gordon. So Ollie Gordon is the engine that makes this Oklahoma State train go. Alan Bowman is a pretty, I would say, solid college quarterback, but he needs Ollie Gordon to get himself going. He has guys on the perimeter like Brendan Presley, Rashad Owens, DeZon Strickland, but without Ollie Gordon getting going, this Oklahoma State offense is not going to get going. 2 comments, and I go to the next game. Do they not trust their kicker because it's not that. It's coaches going for 2, thinking if I get the 2-point conversion, if we get the ball back and score, then all I gotta do is kick it to win. Not thinking that if I don't go for 2, if I don't get the 2-point conversion, I gotta go for 2 again. Utah could mess around and ruin the team's plans in the playoffs this year. Utah is a playoff team, but with Cam Rising, Utah is going to win the Big. Well, in my opinion, with Cam Rising, Utah's going to win the Big 12. They're going to make the playoffs, and I don't know. I forgot how far I got them going. It's not semifinals. I think I got them going like quarters. But I think Utah's a playoff team with Cam Rising. Cam Rising should be back next week too. Well, this week he should be back. He was looking on schedule to be back. They were testing it. I guess they ain't like what they saw. He ain't like how he felt, so they went back to Isaac. But Cam should be back. Now, how long Cam Rising will be back based on his history, who knows? Next game. This game, I picked. Oh, by the way, I gotta talk about the teams I picked. So let's go back. USC, Michigan, I picked USC. UCLA, LSU, I picked LSU because I ain't trust that offense. Georgia Tech, Louisville, I picked Louisville, but I did pick Georgia Tech to cover. Louisville hit, but Georgia Tech did not cover. Arizona State, Texas Tech, I did pick Arizona State. I thought Sam Levitt was playing well. The turnovers kind of threw me off, but still a good game. Utah, Oklahoma State, I did pick Utah. I thought Cam Rising was playing, that's why I picked Utah, but I still picked Utah. TCU, SMU. Now, if you remember what I said preseason, I said this is the year SMU finally gets TCU up out of there. They played TCU 2 years straight before this, lost both games. But I changed my mind from my preseason pick based on the chaos at SMU. Didn't have a solidified starter. Now, I know prior to the game, they said they were going with Kevin Jennings, but I don't know if they're going to stick with Kevin Jennings or not, but they switched to Kevin Jennings, so they had the chaos there. They didn't look good when teams got physical with them. BYU got physical with them, and they looked awful. Nevada got physical with them. They looked awful. So when teams got physical with SMU, they didn't look good. So with those two things in mind, I said, I'm going to rock with TCU. TCU looked good. Josh Hoover went turnoverless so far. He looked amazing so far in the year. TCU offense looks really good. Defensively, could be a lot to be desired, but I feel like if they could get physical SMU, they could slow them down. TCU offense will take over from there. And boy, was I partially wrong. TCU offense is the reason why they lost this game. Fumble 6, pick 6. Now they did give up a punt return for 6, which the offense had to punt. The offense had to not do well for special teams to punt. But man, 2 touchdowns from the defensive end for SMU, that's not going to cut it. Josh Hoover had 2 picks. That's not going to cut it. Giving up big plays because they're on the field, just not going to cut it, man. TCU, to my opinion, did a lot of uncharacteristic stuff. And Sonny Dykes, TCU head coach, got kicked out the game. So a lot of uncharacteristic stuff for TCU in this game, just like a lot of uncharacteristic stuff in TCU last week against UCF. But let's talk about what happened in the game. I already talked about the game for real, so I just want to talk about what happened in it, and we can move on. SMU starts with a 51-yard field goal. By the way, SMU kicker is nice. Now, I know he misses a 53-yarder late, but he, as a college kicker, he's knocking down 50s, 40s, stuff like that. He's knocking down long field goals. TCU starts with a fumble and picked up by Brandon Crossley for a scoop and score. Then TCU punts the ball in the next possession, and Roderick Daniels returns it 69 yards to the house. Then TCU will finally score a 1-yard Josh Hoover touchdown run set up by a defensive pass interference. SMU Kevin Jennings would then fumble, which would lead to a Cam Cook 7-yard touchdown run. SMU would then score a 25-yard Brashad Smith touchdown run set up by Moochie Dixon 13-yard catch. TCU would score a 19-yard Eric McAllister touchdown catch set up by Chase Curtis 33-yard catch. SMU would score a 10-yard Jordan Hudson touchdown catch set up by Brashad Smith 21-yard run. Then Josh Hoover would throw a pick 6. And then right after that, SMU would score a 49-yard field goal. And TCU to start the second half with a 46-yard Jack Beck touchdown catch set up by Savion Williams 22-yard catch. SMU starts the second half with a Brashad Smith 24-yard touchdown catch set up by Romello Brinson 51-yard catch. But the 2-pointer is good to go up 3 touchdowns. They went up 21 with that, so that's why they went for 2, being up so much. Josh Hoover would then fumble, which would lead to a 1-yard Brashad Smith touchdown run. Josh Hoover would throw a pick, which would lead to a 45-yard field goal. Cam Cook would fumble, which would lead to a 53-yard field goal miss, which would lead to a 13-yard Jack Beck touchdown catch. Then SMU would score a 1-yard Brashad Smith touchdown run set up by Kevin Jennings 17-yard run. And then TCU scores a 60-yard Jordan Bailey touchdown catch set up by Eric McAllister 13-yard catch. The backup quarterback was in, so it was garbage time around that time. But as you can see, TCU had about 5 turnovers in this game. Uncharacteristic game for the TCU offense. Just did not do what I thought they would do. I can't call 5 turnovers. I don't care who you is. Cannot call that. They were efficient on third down, 8 of 16, but SMU was 7 of 12. 3 or 4 on fourth down. Like I said, just 5 turnovers. Can't have it. 2 of them for touchdowns. Then you give up a special team touchdown on the punt return. That's 21 points right there. You take that away from 66. That's what, 45, 42. Still lose, but it's just a lot of on the field mistakes for TCU. Got to fix a lot of that. I still think TCU is a really good team. Just got to fix a lot of stuff. We move on to Miami at South Florida. Now, I thought this game would be a lot closer. South Florida offense just kept being stagnant. They were forcing early in the game. They were hanging tough with Miami, but Miami's offense is too explosive. If you don't score touchdowns, they're going to kill you. This offense is way too lethal. Miami wins 50-15 at South Florida, 8th ranked Miami. Miami starts with a 2-yard Damian Martinez touchdown run set up by Xavier Restrepo, 16-yard catch. South Florida will start with a 58-yard field goal. Shout out Lil Grammatica. He knocked that thing down. Nico Grammatica. Miami's Cam Ward would throw a pick, which would lead to a 12-yard Sean Atkins touchdown catch, but the point after would be blocked. Miami would score a 6-yard Isaiah Horton touchdown catch. Damian Martinez set that up with a 36-yard catch. UCF will score a 51-yard field goal and a 45-yard field goal. Like I said, this offense is too good for you to be selling for field goals. Then Miami will score a 76-yard Samuel Brown touchdown catch, which the 2-point would be good. South Florida will miss a 31-yard field goal, which will lead to halftime. Then to start the second half, South Florida will punt. Miami started the second half with a 1-yard Damian Martinez touchdown run set up by Isaiah Horton, 17-yard catch. Miami scores a 1-yard Damian Martinez touchdown run, which Xavier Restrepo set that up with a 28-yard catch. USF's Bryce Archie would throw a pick, which would lead to a 5-yard Xavier Restrepo touchdown catch. And then Miami scores a 91-yard Jordan Love touchdown run, and then Bryce Archie would throw another interception to end the game. But like I said, man, this offense is just too lethal for people to be selling it for field goals against it. This defense actually came to play later in the game. Byron Brown did get hurt in this game, and that's why Bryce Archie came in. But defense started to play better in the second half. They will bow up, but this offense is just so crazy for Miami. And it's a reason why they are potentially in the lead for the ACC so far. Let's see, 5 turnovers isn't winning football exactly. No sugarcoating it, and then gotta be prepared for a shootout against Miami. I don't even know if you're prepared for a shootout. You just gotta be ready to score, but you also gotta be ready for defense too, because they got a defense. They got a defense too. You gotta beat their mentally, make them commit penalties. Oh, beat them mentally. I don't know. I just think you gotta be physical with them. They got a lot of guys that get out in open space and make you miss. I think you just gotta be physical with them. You gotta knock their timing off, because that's another thing. Cam Ward and his timing with these guys has been really well, but it's tough because they got athletes everywhere. They have athletes everywhere, and on the D line they nasty. Ruben Bain didn't even play. Tyler Barron, Ruben Bain on the front end. Francisco Malga, I think that's his name, was linebacker. They just got so many. They're fast. They're tough. They're hard nosed. You got to match it. You got to match it for you to have a chance to beat them. Next game, we have Tennessee at Oklahoma. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I was watching this game, I was like, dang, this game is super defensive. I didn't think it'd be this defensive. I thought we'd see a little bit more points. But it was super defensive. But this is when I knew Oklahoma was going to lose. Tennessee turned the ball over. I think Nico Iamaleava turned the ball over. Yeah, he fumbled. The very next play, Jackson Arnold just fumbled. Just out of nowhere, fumbled. Then Tennessee fumbles again. I want to say it's Nico. Yes, Nico fumbles again. Jackson Arnold, the next play, fumbles again. I'm like, bro, this is the second time where you have new life and you fumble right after him. That's when I knew Oklahoma was going to lose. I was like, dog, you did it twice. Like, this game is over. You cannot, I was about to say Nico, but you can't do that, because eventually Tennessee's offense is going to get going. And, I mean, it eventually did. Not Jabari, Jesus, he's not even there no more. Dylan Sampson eventually scored. Like I said, it was a really defensive game. It really was a really defensive battle. It looked like SEC football, but it was a welcome to the SEC moment for Oklahoma. It was a good game. I mean, I had to watch another game, obviously, which I'll get into next, but it was a good game. It's just Tennessee was too much for them boys. But let's get into it. So Oklahoma started turnover on downs, 4 for 2, passes incomplete, leads to 3-and-out punt. With 6:21 left in the first quarter, Jackson Arnold throws a pick, which leads to a 27-yard field goal. Oklahoma scores a 37-yard field goal of their own. Tennessee scores a 66-yard Dante Thornton Jr. touchdown catch set up by Squirrel White 14-yard catch. Nico Iamaleava fumbles, which leads to a Jackson Arnold fumble, which leads to a punt. Oklahoma would then, Tennessee would score the safety. They will force a safety, by Oklahoma off that punt, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt after they got the 2 points. Then Nico Iamaleava would fumble, leading to a Jackson Arnold fumble, which leads to a 1-yard Dylan Sampson touchdown run. Tennessee starts the second half with a punt. Oklahoma starts the second half with a 3-and-out punt. Tennessee will score a 41-yard field goal. Then with 8:25 left in the fourth quarter, Oklahoma scored the 2-yard Javonte Barnes touchdown catch thrown by Michael Hawkins. The punt had to be no good, and that was set up by Wan'Dale Pettaway's 19-yard catch. Oklahoma turnover downs 4th and 14. Pass incomplete. Tennessee would then score a 32-yard field goal, and then Oklahoma scores a 1-yard Javonte Barnes touchdown run set up by Jaquez Wan'Dale. I don't even know how you pronounce this. Pettaway 46-yard catch. The 2-point would be no good. And like I said, I talked about the game, so we're going to read comments and move on. Oklahoma still ain't clutch in big moments, even after Lincoln Riley is gone. It wasn't even like they had to be clutch. It was no way they can be clutch. Tennessee was just smothering. The score at one point was 17-3. It wasn't like they had a chance to win it. They won't make it in the SEC. I wouldn't say that. This year, no. I haven't gone 7-5 this year. I think they do take their lumps. But I think they can recruit well enough to compete in the SEC. You're in Oklahoma. You're going to have access to endless talent. You're going to have access to Texas. You might not have access to Florida, Georgia. You might have access to those guys now. So I think they compete. It's going to take them a minute. Brett Venables will have these guys ready to go, though. And then just call him Brother Pettaway. Hey, I'm Pettaway. His name is crazy. My handwriting is crazy, too. That's part of the reason. But moving on to MSU at Boston College, and this game hurt. This game hurt. I'm going to go on a rant. I'm sorry. I know Luke probably going to kill me for this, but I'm going on a rant. I don't care how young Aiden Childs is. I don't. Bruh, stop throwing the ball to the opposite team. It's not rocket science. You want to throw the ball to your players. I get, and I see a lot of guys defending him. First of all, to the guys saying that he should be benched, you're crazy. As much as I dislike how this guy's been playing, he shouldn't be benched. But to the guys saying, oh, he's just young, give him time. No, you're not holding him accountable for the 7 interceptions he has thrown in 3 games that matter. I'm not counting there at Prairie View A&M. And even in that game, he threw a pick that got called back. Bruh, he is throwing deliberate passes to the defense. I mean, literally, it looks like he's throwing the ball to receivers that are on wearing different color jerseys. Bruh, stop throwing picks. At least if you're going to throw a pick, get baited. If you're going to throw a pick, let the ball get tipped. It's been one of those picks have been a tip pick, and that was his first ever one. Other than that, deliberate throws to the defense. Like, come on, bruh. I don't care if you 14, 12, 24, 27, 18, 19. Bro, you throw a deliberate picks like he's been throwing, you're getting cussed out. I don't care how old or young you are. Stop throwing. Bro, and let's not even forget, he finished with 3 picks. He should have finished with 5 picks. Bro, MSU played well enough to where that game shouldn't have been close. But because this guy's throwing stupid picks, we're in close games. The Maryland game, I told people, we won, yes, but Aiden Childs was throwing stupid picks. Oh, Carl, but we won. Look at this dot. Oh, we won. Look at that dot. Bruh, no. I don't care that we won. Look at how we won. FAU game. Oh, Carl, we won, though. A win is a win. We won the game, though. He almost threw a pick 6 to cause us the game. First of all, brother came out and said, bet the over when we play. I don't know if we had an over yet. That's just number 1. Number 2, he must have been over in his interceptions because, bruh, he's thrown 2 picks at FAU. He threw 2 picks Maryland. He threw 3 picks, should have been 5 against Boston College. Let alone, it should have probably been 3-4 against Maryland. Brother is out there throwing picks. To say he's too young is not holding him accountable for the BS that he is doing. You got to hold bruh accountable. Should he be benched? No. Is the talent there? Yes. He has made some plays that made me go, oh, okay, I see why he a D1 quarterback. The escapability he had on that 20-yard run was insane. He's had some throws, but he also missed a wide-open touchdown, too. And he's done that multiple times. He's also thrown deliberate dots to the defense multiple times. Bruh, somebody need to, I don't know what somebody need to do, but somebody need to get him to stop throwing deliberate interceptions. I got some comments. Then I'm going to talk about this game. Oh, but just like, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I asked that young man to throw me a beer and, well, I'm drinkless. That's hilarious. But, bro, like, dead serious, bro. I like Aiden. I tend to like Aiden. But these interceptions got to stop, bro. They have to stop. They have to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If me holding bro accountable makes you feel the type of way, then it is what it is. I don't care. But Boston College started with a 3-and-out punt. Michigan State starts with a 41-yard field goal. Then Boston College, Trayshawn Ward will fumble, but that would just lead to a 3-and-out punt. Boston College would then score an 11-yard Turnbull Richard touchdown run, set up by a Trayshawn Ward 12-yard run. Then Michigan State would score a 1-yard Aiden Childs touchdown run, set up by Montoya Foster 40-yard catch. Then Michigan State's Aiden Childs would throw a pick, which would lead to a 3-and-out punt. Then MSU would score a 26-yard field goal before the half. We up 13-6. Now, this play was also killer. I can't kill Aiden Childs and not kill Kayvon Lynch Adams for not calling a fair catch in the end zone. Brother, what are you doing? Not only did you not call a fair catch and take it out, then you get smacked and fumbled. Bro, just call a fair catch. We get the ball to 25. Let's keep it going. We up 13-6, got all the momentum. You don't call a fair catch. You get popped. And before everybody say, well, Carl, you only complaining because he fumbled. No. As soon as he caught that ball and took it out, I said, what are you doing? Why didn't you call a fair catch? What are you doing? And then he got popped, and that made me more mad. I was mad when he took it out. So I'm not just mad because he fumbled. No, that was like icing on the cake. But that would just lead to a Boston College 39-yard field goal. Then Aiden Childs would then throw another deliberate pick to Boston College, which will lead to a 36-yard Trayshawn Ward touchdown run. Now, on that play, I was like, defense, what are you doing? Like, we didn't even wrapping up. We ain't tackling. Like, bro, technique, everything just looked bad. But then the MSU scored a 51-yard field goal with 13:42 left in the fourth quarter. Boston College turnover on downs, 4th and goal. Thomas Castellanos run for a loss of 1. I believe Kyle Holiday made that play, which would lead to a 27-yard field goal. Now, I ain't going to lie. When we settled for 3, I said Boston College was about to score. Now, how fast they scored, I didn't see it. I ain't see them scoring a bomb to Lewis Bond. I thought they was going to run the ball, mix in some throws, and eventually work their way down the field to score. When they scored fast, I said, cool, we got time. But I also said, bro, going to throw something stupid, ain't he? And sure enough, he throws a dumb pick to lose the game. Bro, like, again, the escapability. He broke a sack with like 2 people. He had it underneath route wide open. He throws in the double coverage. Like, brother, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? You threw that into double coverage, bro, for the game. What are you doing? It was like probably a minute left. Just take the check down, get some yards, he get out of bounds. Let's win the game. What are you doing? And yep, that's how we lost the red bandana game to Boston College. 3 interceptions by Aiden Childs, 0 passing touchdowns, by the way. And let's look real quick at Aiden Childs' season stats. We're not going to count Prairie View A&M because that's an HBCU school. We're supposed to win 40-0 today. I didn't even watch the game. I'm like, bro, we're supposed to win that game. What am I watching that for? I'm taking nothing from that game. Aiden Childs right now, 4 touchdowns, 7 picks. Now, when I go to the game log and I look at those touchdown passes, 1 came against Prairie View. So we're going to say 3 touchdowns, all in the Maryland game, 7 picks. That's a terrible touchdown to interception ratio. Terrible. 3 touchdowns, 7 picks. 3 against Boston College, like I said, 2 against Maryland, 2 against FAU. Not gonna get the job done, bro. It's not. All the talent in the world don't mean nothing if you don't got between. If you don't got it here, all the talent in the world means nothing. If you want to keep throwing picks to the other team, all the talent in the world means nothing. But we're gonna get into these comments and then we're gonna wrap up with these last 2 games and then major performances. Here we go. Start questioning the coaching if the talent is there, personnel. So I don't think it's Jonathan Smith. I don't know what you do to a guy who could deliberately throw picks there. And I also don't think the quarterbacks behind Bry is better than Bry either. So Jonathan Smith is just stuck in between a rock and a hard place, where he got a young guy who's clearly doing stupid stuff, but he has the talent not to. I don't know what it is. Basically, what he's saying is, I don't know what is wrong with Bry, but I got to find a way for him to reel it in, for him to stop doing this. And yeah, is it getting it done for them kids? Now, luckily for him, expectations ain't as high as mine were. I had us going 9-3. I had us being 4-0 at this juncture. Honestly, I seen a lot of people. This is another thing that killed me. A lot of people on Twitter, oh, nobody had us being 3-1. A lot of y'all would take us being 3. I had us being 4-0, bro. I had us being 4-0. So just because you don't got expectations for your team don't mean everybody don't got expectations. I had us being 4-0. I had us beating FAU. I had us obviously beating Prairie View A&M. I had us beating Maryland. I even bet Chipotle on the Maryland game. And I had us beating Boston College. And we should have won that game. We should have. Sorry, not sorry. That game easily should have been won by MSU. Then I had us losing Ohio State. I had us losing to – hold on, I got the joint right here. I'll tell y'all right now. Now I'm supposed to be going to – I don't know. Is this it? No, this is the wrong notebook. Oh, Lord. I got like 5 different notebooks right here. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. I got to find it, though. This is the SEC. I'm too far. This is the Big 12. I did Big 10 first. Northwestern, so let's move. Michigan State should be right. This is Michigan here. So, again, had us 4-0, had us losing to Ohio State, losing to Oregon, losing to Iowa, beating Michigan, beating Indiana, beating Illinois, beating Purdue, beating Rutgers. So I had us starting off 4-0, losing 3 straight, and then finishing with a 6-game winning streak. No, 5-game winning streak, excuse me. But I don't even see that. I still got to beat Michigan. Indiana, I don't know if we beat Indiana. Indiana looked really good. And they got my guy, Kirk Signetti. Y'all know that's why I wanted at MSU. Illinois, I think we still beat Illinois, but they look tough. I actually think we beat Iowa now, but that's beside the point. That is beside the point. I hope Bro can turn it around. I really do. And I'm not trying to wait a year for you to stop throwing deliberate picks, bro. Like I told Luke, these are middle school mistakes. Y'all are asking a college guy. Y'all are asking, think about this. Y'all are asking me to give a college quarterback grace for middle school mistakes. Stop it. Stop it. All right, next comment. Yes, yeah, whatever, bruh. Whenever y'all lose, it's gonna be back to video games for you, bruh. Birdman hand rub. Did I miss the weekend preview? No, that's Saturday morning. Saturday morning, I'm off Saturday, so Saturday morning would be my weekend preview. MSU ain't beating Michigan, considering your boy got an interception problem going against Will Johnson. Hey, bro, Jonathan Smith better tell him you avoid whatever side number 2 is on at all times. I don't give a daggone what you see. Avoid that at all costs. But I think we do beat Michigan because they can't throw the ball. Bro, they can't throw the ball. They're one-dimensional. They're one-dimensional as a mud, but that's in about a month. Over under. I'm gonna take the under 4 interceptions, but it's close. It's close. You'd have said over under 2.5. I'd have probably took the over. But we move on to the next game. Baylor at Colorado. Baylor blew this game in my opinion. Blew the game. They were up a touchdown. Had an easy field goal to go up 10 points with 2 minutes left. Missed the field goal, and then gave up 2 Hail Marys essentially. The first Hail Mary to Will Shepard just dropped it. Right in his hands, he just dropped it. And the second Hail Mary, this was a more crazier throw, don't get me wrong. But LaJohntay Wester, wasn't nobody in front of him. It was like a guy to the side of him and a guy behind him. Touchdown. And then in overtime, you fumble. Travis Hunter, good hit, but you fumble. You could have had a 10-point lead. You give up 2 Hail Marys, and then you fumble in overtime. You blew the game. You had the game. And you were up double digits, I think, earlier on. They blew this game. Colorado should not have won, but they did. Shout out to them. Y'all know I had Colorado going 7-5. Actually, nope, I missed it. I got my preview for Colorado right here. I had Colorado being 7-5, and I actually had them being 3-1. I had them beating North Dakota State. They did. Had them losing Nebraska. They did. I had them beating Colorado State. They did. And I had them beating Baylor. So I got them on schedule right now. But yeah, we'll talk about the game. So Baylor starts with a punt. Colorado starts with a punt. Oh, by the way, I did pick Colorado to win this, but Baylor will score a 32. Oh, shoot. I got to go back. So Utah, I picked Utah. TCU, SMU, I picked SMU. Miami, South Florida, I did pick Miami. Tennessee, Oklahoma, I picked Tennessee. Michigan State, Boston College, I did pick Boston College because of this guy interception rate and because we were missing two wide receivers, because we were missing Nick Marsh and LaRon Glover, excuse me. And that's why I picked Boston College. And that's whatever. I was about to say that shouldn't have mattered. I didn't curse, but that shouldn't have mattered. But whatever. But I did pick Colorado to beat Baylor. Now back to the game. Baylor scored a 32-yard field goal. Colorado scores a 2-yard Shedeur Sanders touchdown run set up by Travis Hunter 24-yard catch. Baylor scores a 30-yard Monterey Baldwin touchdown catch set up by Keyshawn Jackson 22-yard catch. With 6:55 left in the second quarter, Colorado scores a 43-yard field goal. Jamal Bell returns the ensuing kickoff 100 yards to the crib. Kickoff return touchdown by Jamal Bell. Then Baylor would after the Colorado's next possession, would score a 45-yard Sawyer Robertson touchdown run. Then with 50 seconds left in the second quarter, Colorado scores a 58-yard Omarion Miller touchdown catch. Now that play was kicked crazy on the sideline, right sideline. For those watching, down the right sideline, looks like he's about to get tackled, but his knees never touched. Nothing ever touched. He actually landed kind of on top of the defender, got up, took off, ran for a touchdown. Then Colorado starts the second half with a punt. Baylor starts the second half with a turnover on downs, 4th and 1. Sawyer Robertson, 1-yard loss, which leads to a punt. Then Colorado will score a 2-yard Michael Welch touchdown run to tie the game. Travis Hunter had 2 big plays, 2 catches combining for 77 yards. Colorado would then have a turnover on downs, 4th and 8. Shedeur Sanders, that O-line just gave him no time. He got sacked. That would lead to a Hall Presley 24-yard catch. Then Baylor misses the 45-yard field goal, which will lead to a 43-yard touchdown pass to LaJohntay Wester, like I said, the Hail Mary. Then in overtime, Colorado will start with a 1-yard Michael Welch touchdown run, and then Travis Hunter will force the fumble on Dominique Richardson at the goal line, recovered by Colorado, and Colorado wins in overtime. Excuse me. Shedeur and his followers got the W. Hey, man, I'm a Colorado fan. Not fan, but I rock with them boys. I want them to do good, man. I'm still salty about how the media was playing with them last year, saying they had the worst team in the country, the worst roster in the country. And then when they won the game, they was mad. They were celebrating. Like, bro, you can't go. They got the worst team in the country. They're going to finish dead last to, oh, y'all beat TCU. We're supposed to be the worst team in the country. Any win is a good win, huh? But I digress. And then people were acting like people thought Colorado was world beaters because people were happy and they won a game. Then it was like, well, this is not the TCU last year. No, but y'all said this is the worst. Bro, you had people, the over-under for Colorado last year was 3.5 games. You had people not thinking they can win 4 games last year. So, but the last game of the recap is K-State, 13th ranked K-State getting absolutely demolished by BYU. I did pick K-State to win this game, but I said BYU would keep it close and BYU would have the potential to win. But BYU, man, is just so well coached, so physical. It's tough. When you go against BYU, you got to expect a fight, a dog fight. And BYU pulled it out. Kansas State ain't know what hit them. Avery Johnson didn't know what hit him. So we'll talk about the game. BYU starts with a 3-and-out punt. K-State started with a 32-yard field goal. Then K-State scores a 27-yard field goal. Then BYU scores a 31-yard field goal. Then K-State DJ Giddens so reliable, but fumbles, leading to a Tommy Presser scoop and score. Then K-State's Avery Johnson would throw a pick, which would lead to a 23-yard Chase Roberts touchdown catch. Then K-State will start the second half with an Avery Johnson interception, which will lead to a 3-yard Darius Lassiter touchdown catch. K-State would then punt the ball the next drive. And then Parker Kingston would catch the ball on the right sideline. No, I think he catches it down the middle, runs right, reverses field, runs left, has a wall, and scores a touchdown on a punt return. It was absolutely crazy. I would recommend you watch that punt return. It was a crazy punt return. K-State would score a 28-yard field goal and then have 3 turnover on downs. First one being a 4 for 2. Avery Johnson 1-yard loss, which will lead to a Sione Amona 2-yard touchdown run. The second one is a 4th and 12 passes incomplete, leading to a punt. And the last one is 4th and 1 Joe Jackson run for no gain, leading to the end of the game. Like I said, man, BYU was just too much for them boys. All right, we got media flip-flops all the time. It's the nature of the game. That's true, but I feel like Colorado gets dealt with a lot of unfair criticisms and a lot of unfair media bias, stuff like that. Colorado won only one game the year before last, and they had a better year under 1 year of Coach Prime. And if they get 5 this year, they've improved again. There's no argument at that point. Yes, but the roster last year was completely overhauled. It was a completely different roster than the 1 year team. A lot of those guys were gone. And they should have won 5 games last year. They blew the game against Stanford. And that was uncharacteristic only because it kind of dealt with Travis. But they blew the game against Stanford last year. They should have won 5 games last year. I just felt like people were being overcritical because Dion got the job and he overhauled that roster. And it was like it seemed like they wanted Brother Phil, to be honest. And he actually doing a good job turning them around. And people also forget the year before. I want to say the year before that 1 year, 1 win year, that was with Mel Tucker, and they were good that year. They were really good that year. So. Yeah, Colorado has the opportunity to be a good, well, not in the Big 12. They were in the Pac-12, but they had the opportunity to be a decent Big 12 team. And the Big 12 ain't world beaters. Like, the Big 12 was kind of like the Pac-12, but better. So they clearly wanted Prime to fail. They still do for exactly. And I just felt that because of that, I'm rolling with Colorado. They're not obviously on my team because MSU, but I was rocking with them. But we move on to major performances. I'm going to run through these real quick. And then I'm gone, but we got first. Oh, let me get the sound effect ready. We're gonna still gonna have our cheers because they deserve it. First up, 10 catches, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns for San Jose State and the loss in double overtime to Washington State. We have Kyle Williams, wide receiver, 8 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown for Washington State in a double overtime win. Fluff of Bothwell, running back, 14 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the win against App State for South Alabama. Gio Lopez, quarterback, 16 of 24, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 7 carries for 105 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Quarterback for South Alabama in the win against App State. Caleb Johnson, running back, Iowa, 21 carries, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns in the win against Minnesota. Cam Ward, the quarterback, Miami, the U, 24-34, 404 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Sean Atkins, wide receiver, USF, 11 catches, 125 yards, and a touchdown. Yak Beck, wide receiver, TCU, 8 catches, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a loss against SMU. Rashard Smith, running back, SMU, 18 carries for 127 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 receptions, 24 yards, and a touchdown. Oh, battery about to die. The running back for SMU in the win against TCU. Right. I think this notebook is blocking me from putting my thing charger. Yep, it was. I don't know what I just did. Okay, cool. We move on from Rashard Smith to Nate Noel, running back, Mizzou. In the win against Vanderbilt, had 24 carries, 199 yards. Blake Horvath, quarterback, Navy, 9 of 12, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, that alone is not major, but at Navy it is. I ain't gonna lie. If you throw for 200 yards at Navy, you might get a statue. But he also had 12 carries for 211 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. 6 total touchdowns, about 400. It's like let's just say like 409 all-purpose yards. He did his thing against Memphis in the win. Khalil Mullins, running back, Michigan, 17 carries, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns in the win against USC. And Hudson Clement, wide receiver, West Virginia, who had 7 catches and 150 yards in the win against Kansas. Now, that is the end of CTC. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back in like 5 hours, if that. I'll be back in 5 hours for my Friday night preview, Miami versus Virginia Tech and Washington versus Rutgers. Should be 2 good games. Like I said, I'll be back in 5 hours. And then we have Saturday morning to go over the Saturday previews. A lot of good football this Saturday. But I'll see y'all in about 5 hours. I'm about to get me some sleep. I'm gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.